talk a little bit of football
Let's
because
do it.
we got a very interesting challenge issued to the Chicago Bears yesterday from the Titans defensive coordinator. And listen, this is what he's supposed to do, right? I don't want this to come off as like, oh, he's trying to set up beef already. This is like, what did you expect from the Titans defensive coordinator that he was going to come out and do? But listen, we've had coaches challenge the Chicago Bears in the past when it wasn't a smart decision. And it didn't work out well. Now they did end up winning that Super Bowl, but at least for Devin Hester, it worked out well. But what he said was, and this is Titans DC Denard Wilson. He came in from Baltimore last season to take over the Titans defense. He's a defensive back specialist. So you have to understand this when you're looking at what his comments are. But what he said is, for me, I believe it's press or less. I want them to line up and I want them to be in front of receivers and challenge the receivers. Ultimately, in this game, if you get free access, it's easy for the quarterback. The quarterback completes, or for the quarterback to complete the ball. So what I do is I want to create a hesitation at the line of scrimmage and make them earn it the hard way. Make them earn it, throw the 50-50 ball, but everything else we're going to challenge. He said Wilson was then asked if he leaves it open to his corners to press, and his comment was, from day one, we press everything. And I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to lie to you. And I got some numbers here from Pafif.
Pafif.
Yeah, you know, always got to bring Pafif into it. On the top 10 wide receivers against the press last season. Can you name me two of those top 10, JC?
I'm going to go with Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb.
Well, okay, I meant on the Bears. But yeah, those
DJ Moore. In general, no.
CeeDee Lamb is on the list. Justin Jefferson not on that list.
Really? Okay.
I guess we can do this exercise. You want to try and name the top 10 here?
Jesus, yeah. Now you got me thinking, because I did take a look. Maybe that was the last year, but okay, I'm gonna go with Keenan and DJ, obviously, because Rome.
Keenan and DJ are on the list. Keenan Allen and DJ Moore are number 8 and number 9 on this list. You said CeeDee Lamb as well. CeeDee Lamb is 6.
Okay. AJ Brown.
AJ Brown is 3 on this list. That's a solid pick.
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill is number 1 against press. Don't press him.
Devontae Adams.
DT is not on this list.
That's why I strike out. Okay, who else you got?
DK Metcalf, number 10 on this
list.
Puka Nacua, number 7 on this list. Brandon Ayuk, number 5 on this list. Amon-Ra St. Brown, number 4 on this list. Nico Collins, number 2 on this list.
Wow. Okay.
Nico Collins, number 2 on this list. But here's my thing. The number 9 and number 10 press against the press in the NFL are DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. And the point of this, and I understand kind of why the Titans DC wants to do this, because what you're trying to do is create that hesitation at the line to give you just enough time to pressure a rookie quarterback. But what I think, and I guess I love the competitiveness, but this to me is a exercise in futility, if we're being honest, because one, you know what DJ Moore and Keenan Allen can do. Just a taste of what DJ Moore did against the press in 2023. He averaged 2.56 yards per route in 2023, had 29 receptions of 15 plus yards or more when facing press coverage, which ranked him 8th in the NFL. Now DJ Moore now Keenan Allen also being in Chicago. When he was with the Chargers, he dropped just 6 of his 91 catchable targets that he saw versus press coverage for an average 2.63 yards per route run. So the press coverage is I love the challenge. I love that we're starting off 2024 with a challenge. But even if you let's say there's this magical coverage of DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, right?
Yeah.
The guy that you just added in, Rome Odunze, one of the traits that was most talked about him, and this is from PFF's pre-draft analysis, said Odunze is the best in the class at beating press coverage. He always has a plan for what he wants to set up and execute it with finesse and physicality. He expertly involves his head and shoulders in his fakes and sells all his moves like Jordan Belfort selling penny stocks. When he needs to, he uses his hands to to ward off jams, and he has strength to run through defenders. So to me, of all the things that you could have taken a chance on, of all the things, if you're the Tennessee Titans, and maybe this is a little help to the Tennessee Titans, that you probably don't want to do, it's don't press this team, because what you're hoping for is that Caleb Williams is going to hesitate enough that he's going to struggle. And I just don't see that being the case if you're not consistently getting pressure on the quarterback. Now, this also goes to Shane Waldron on, how he calls the game, because they got some dogs over there on that defensive line as well. You can't sit there and scoff at what the Titans have right now. But I just feel like going press coverage, trying to challenge it and saying we're going to press everything, that's a lot of confidence in your DBs, but it doesn't seem like a decision that it seems like an exercise, like I said, in futility. By the way, over 100 in a chat.
Oh, we already got it? Oh, let's go.
Let's go. Shout out to the Breeze Nation pulling up in here, man. Over 100 on the YouTube side, only 23 likes. Hit that like button. 27 on the Twitter side. Hit that retweet button, man. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, showing love with us early. Jordan JC, what say you about this?
Man, you know what? And I'm looking at the chat, and of course, that's one of the first things I was going to mention. New Harper brought it out. They picked up a really, really good cornerback from Kansas City and L'Jarius Sneed. He can do that against those top receivers. I do agree with that. But I mean, when you're talking about, you mentioned DJ and Keenan being 8 and 9 on that list, those were on 2 separate teams. So we're talking about having them on the same squad lined up. And then, like you just mentioned, Rome Odunze was doing that in college. So you really want to go toe to toe with 3 really good receivers that are great against press coverage. I heard Keenan Allen in the oppressor just yesterday was asked that question, and he basically said, "Oh, okay, sure." Like, let's go. I not that many words for the defensive coordinator. Basically, he's like, okay, we'll see what happens when we get out there. And I think what this really is a focal point more, as you mentioned, on the quarterback than the receivers. I think they're trying to challenge Caleb Williams in his first game ever as a rookie. To try and figure out, what's going on with the coverage, what's going on with the post snap reads and things of that nature. So that's where I think the challenge is really focused in. Because if you allow these guys to get past that first line, I mean, explosive plays all day. And we already know that's what Caleb is really good at. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm actually excited because I feel like who else is going to play really good against press coverage outside of Sneed? Like, I know Jamal Adams is on the team too. They got some dogs on that team.
They got some dogs. Listen, I'm not. This is not a we're gonna dog walk Tennessee podcast. Like, I'm probably more worried about Tennessee than most people. Like, I'm like.
Yeah.
As much as the stuff, if we could say for Will Levis or for Caleb Williams that he has at his disposal, Will Levis has some of those same things.
He's got some nice
this is not the Tennessee Titans are going to be weak podcast. Like, that's not what's happening here on this daily show. But that press coverage, it's got me tingly. It's got me tingly. Let me say that. I do want to talk about some of the quotes that we got from the Bears wide receivers. Let's talk about that after we get a word from our sponsors at BetDSI. We're gonna listen into that real quick, and then let's talk about some of what we heard from the wide receivers. Even Tyler Scott getting in on the excitement on this.
Happening, Bears Nation. It's your boy Pat, the designer from the Windy City Breeze, where we keep it 100 about everything Chicago Bears. Now, if you're like me, you don't just watch the game, you live it, and that's why you need to check out BetDSI. BetDSI is where it's at if you want to put your money where your mouth is. They've been doing it for over 20 years, giving you the best odds, lightning fast payouts, and a platform that's as solid as the best O-line. Whether you're betting on the Bears to take it all the way or making clutch live bets during the game, BetDSI has you covered. And here is the kicker. Just because you're rolling with the Windy City Breeze, BetDSI is hooking you up. Sign up today with the promo code WCB, and they'll give you 120% bonus on your first deposit up to $1,000. That's free money, folks, to make sure that you're winning as you back our boys in the blue and orange. So what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Head over to betdsi.eu, use the code WCB, and start turning your Bears passion into serious cash. BetDSI, where real Bears fans get it done.
Appreciate y'all tuning in and rocking with us, man. Hit the like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Let's keep this thing moving right along because you brought it up, JC, and I thought that it was my favorite part of all of this because we got to Nicholas Moreno got to basically ask all the Bears wide receivers about this. Nick Moreno from CHGO. Keenan Allen basically said, that's the Titans, whoever you're talking about, with a question mark, and then just went, yeah, sure. Roma Odunze's comments on it said, you know, if that's what he's trying to do, that's what he's trying to do. Everybody has their different tasks with trying to stop an offense, and especially in our room with the guys that we have a lot of answers for those things as well. Even Tyler Scott getting in on it a little bit said, but hey, if that's what they want to do, we got all different types of guys, especially a guy like Keenan, you know, okay, welcome it. And I thought it was interesting because, all right, the first three guys you think of are DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze. But then my mind goes to, Tyler Scott has improved drastically at getting off of the line, using his hands, using his strength to actually get off the line. I know he's a guy that everybody looks at as the little guy, and he is small, but he definitely is bulked up a little bit. Even a guy like Tyler Scott in press coverage, right? Like I just feel like now it doesn't have to be. I think here's the thing too. It doesn't have to be a zero press. It doesn't mean that they're going to be able to take the top off all day, right? That you can still press and be in cover 2. You can press and be in cover 6, right? You can still do things defensively. But to me, what it's going to do is what the Bears have as an advantage is you have these guys in press that you have to focus on. What does it do for the other names, right? What does it do for a guy like Cole Kmet? What does it do for a guy like Tyler Scott in this situation? And at the end of the day, it comes down to the utilization of Shane Waldron and how he puts this offense in a good position. But also, it comes down to those guys being able to step up. We're all waiting for the major DJ Moore game, the major Keenan Allen game, the major Rome Odunze game. This could be the game where you get the big Cole Kmet game. This could be the game where you get the big Tyler Scott game. This could be and I think that's the thing about the Bears that's exciting now is take your pick on what you want to do. Just for the running back people out there, the big DeAndre Swift game. You know what I mean? like this, it's a pick your poison season, and it comes down to Shane. How do you want to call it? And Caleb, are you going to be able to execute it? And that to me, when it comes down to those two things, I think you're starting off your season in a good spot.
It's absolutely pick your poison. I mean, you're looking at again for me, it's the quantity. I think that really plays to the Bears' advantage. If you're talking about maybe last year when DJ Moore was clearly the number one far and away, and maybe we had to get that wide receiver room corrected and bring in more talent, like with Keenan, like with Rome Odunze, things of that nature, then okay, I could see why this would be a little bit more to the advantage of press coverage. But again, you mentioned Shane Waldron using his tight ends a little bit more in this type of offense, double tight ends. You also keep in mind Gerald Everett. You also keep in mind the pass catching ability of a DeAndre Swift. Like there's so many names, people that are going to be on the field at the same time. Who do you account for? At a certain point, you're running out of cornerbacks that are able to keep up with these guys. Tyler Scott is marking. I mean, you're talking about giving explosive plays. There's going to be somebody that's going to get open. I mean, come on. There's going to be somebody, and so I think again, this plays into the Bears' hands. We'll see how it'll end up. I don't see a blowout. I know some people in the chat are saying, "Oh, the Bears D is going to dominate to the point where the Bears are just going to blow this team away." I do want to give some grace to the Titans. Again, this is not we're not going to dog walk them in the chat again, but at the same time, I feel like this plays into the Bears' hands more so than not.
Yeah, no, listen, as much as we can hype up the Titans, it comes down to the same things, right? I think that you have different quarterbacks in the situation, though. If you can get pressure on the quarterback, what is going to happen? I think this is on both sides of the football. The thing is with Will Levis a little bit less mobile than Caleb Williams is. If you get pressure on Caleb Williams, we've seen what he can do when he needs to step forward, step back, get to the side, right? We know the different arm angles he can bring into this, right? He just has more at his disposal right now than what Will Levis has. Now, maybe Will Levis has improved tremendously in this. What is this? His second year? Is this second or third year for Will Levis? I know there was a lot of injury one year. Was Will Levis drafted last year? The second year for Will Levis.
Yeah.
But when you look at what he has at his disposal too, though, I mean, again, the Tennessee Titans team is not something to scoff at, right? They got 3 dudes that we talked about, the Chicago Bears, going out and trying to acquire at different points in their careers, because you got DeAndre, you got DeAndre Hopkins. It was the right,
you were right.
The first name. I was about to go Swift though. When you got DeAndre Hopkins, you add Tony Pollard, and now Tony Pollard, I think, is going to be that you trying to throw him out there as a weapon in futility, because I think the Bears are going to be dominant against the run. But you got Tyler Boyd on that team. I mean, like
Calvin Ridley,
Tajay Spears on that team, guys that can get after you. Yeah, a Calvin Ridley, like. That's not a team to scoff at. He has just as many weapons as the Bears do. But I think when you add in that, that Caleb Williams has a little bit more mobility, you've got a team in the Titans where defensively up front, you're more so worried about Jeffrey Simmons than anybody else on that team. Now, Jeffrey Simmons is absolutely a dominant dog on that line, and we got a ton of questions coming up the middle there, but I'm more worried about Jeffrey Simmons than anybody else on that team. But I guess they could say the same thing. I'm more worried about Montez Sweat than I am worried about anybody else on that team. This to me is a game for the Bears to have a good game, and we'll go in depth with previewing the game and stuff like that more later on in the week. Really tomorrow. Like later on in the week is Thursday. But when you talk about like who's going to be important to this game, dare I say, Caleb Williams may not be the most important person in this first game. I think you're looking at somebody like Gervon Dexter, who, if you can force that pressure into Will Levis's face, Will Levis, at least based off what I saw his rookie year, unless there was a vast improvement, is not the level of talent that I'm worried about being able to just throw over Gervon Dexter or just be able to get away from Gervon Dexter. But you need that push up the middle, because that's going to force you into Montez Sweat. That's going to force you into former Tennessee Titan DeMarcus Walker, right? That's what's going to put you in the position to create that pressure on the quarterback. That's where mistakes are made. That's how you get your interceptions from your DBs and linebackers on the back end.
Yeah, defense, I think, is really going to be the focal point of how we put this game away, in my opinion. The offense is obviously going to be more explosive, be more special than we've seen in years past, but the focal point is definitely going to be on how this defense dominates Tennessee, what they do in the run game, the pressure that they put on Will Levis, early and often. But last for me on this topic, man, I do want to come away with being impressed with Caleb Williams and his presser as well. I think his mentality going into this game, they were talking about, are you looking to just come out and dominate? Because obviously you mentioned, he's not afraid of the moment. He hasn't been nervous since his high school days. Like he's saying all the right things. Somebody, I believe, I can't remember who asked him, but said, are you looking to throw 350 yards and 4 touchdowns? He said, hey, I'm looking to win. If I can come out of this with a win, doesn't matter to me if I have to give the ball off to, DeAndre Swift, a bunch of times because he's going 5 a pop, and they can't stop it. And so we're managing the time, we're managing the clock, we're getting them off the field or keeping them off the field as far as their offense. Like, as long as we win, and I love that mentality. So what if that press coverage is doing its job against Caleb, but at the same time he's taking the small plays, and then the run game is still effective, and we're still getting down the field. That's all that matters at the end of the day, is get that W.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm excited about what the Bears can do against the Titans. I think that there's, listen, they, like you said, they got some dogs on their side as well. But I think when it comes down to, defensive pressure versus Caleb Williams or defensive pressure versus Will Levis, I feel like you're going to have right now the Bears have the advantage in that. Maybe that's the homer. Maybe it's because it's week 1. Maybe it's because I'm a little bit tingly on this team right now. Maybe it's because we got over 200 in the chat. 200. Could be all of those things, but I do feel like the Bears have the advantage in this game. I'm not going to throw my prediction out there just yet because we're not in full preview mode, but I feel like this should be I don't know if I'm as far as J-Mac. J-Mac said this has to be a must win. To me, I have to see a prepared football team go out there and play prepared football for 4 quarters. That's what I need to see in week 1.
Did he say that because of week 2, because of the Houston game?
No, he said that because he's like, Bears fans are going to absolutely rip apart this team.
Oh, okay, yeah.
If we don't win week 1. I was like, I don't know if it's must win just yet. But I will say this, like, it is an important game because of that, right? Week 2 is a tough game. You don't want to start off your season 0-2. You want to be able to come out and look like a dominant football team week 1, especially starting things off at home in front of the Soldier Field fans, Chicago Bears fans out here. Another thing we do got to talk about though is the injury report. The latest injury report came out yesterday. Of course, there'll be an update today. Bears had some names that are limited. Now, maybe this slows Keenan Allen down against the press a little bit, but Keenan Allen was limited with a